Dayspace online podcast. Dayspace.
Hello and welcome back to Dayspace Online. I'm Emma from Reigate.
And I'm Joe, also from Reigate.
And today we've got another podcast for you, and we're going to be talking about space. Ooh. And everything we can see in the night sky.
Ooh, exciting.
So what can we see? What can we usually see in the night sky?
Well, I reckon we can see the stars for a start.
Mm-hmm. The stars. You can see the moon.
Sometimes you can see, it depends if you're using a telescope, then you can see lots of stuff in the night
That's
sky.
true. Sometimes we can see like satellites, and like I think you can see the ISS sometimes, can't you? The International Space Station.
Yeah, you can. It's
Probably looks like a dot.
yeah. So it's possible to view the International Space Station with the naked eye.
What does it
Yeah.
look like? Just a dot of light?
A space station,
That's
I
really
guess.
cool.
So apparently it will be visible from Hertfordshire this week.
Oh, amazing.
So if you live in Hertfordshire,
You're in Hertfordshire. Have a look.
not helpful to us in Surrey, but shame. But it's the largest artificial or man-made object in space.
Oh, amazing. That's a great fact.
And for those who don't know what the International Space Station is, it's a multinational research laboratory in orbit around the Earth.
It's a space laboratory. That sounds like something out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it is just floating in space, doing science. Sometimes we can see the planets, although you have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, because you can mistake them for stars.
Yeah, they do just look like the stars. But usually I get them pointed out to me, so it's a bit easier. They're like, look, that's a planet. And I'm like, cool. Right. So the biggest thing we can see is the moon. So the moon is Earth's only natural satellite, meaning it is the only thing orbiting the Earth that we did not put there. Of a certain size. There might be some small rocks, but I don't think we count them because they're too small. The surface temperature ranges from 135 Celsius in the day to negative 154 Celsius at night. So pretty hot and pretty cold. What is it today? Like 20, 25, 26? It's quite warm today.
Yeah, it's pretty warm, but not as warm as that hot moon.
Not 134. And the moon doesn't glow on its own. When I was very young, thought it did, but it doesn't. It just reflects the light from the sun. So that's how we can see it.
That's how we see all of our most of our celestial things, like the planets we can see because of the reflection from the sun. And
It's only the stars that we can see because the stars emit their own light, but they're much further away. Or sometimes we can see things if they pass in front of the sun. We can see them as like how you see an eclipse.
Yes, like the moon lunar eclipse.
Yeah, which I've never seen, but I'd love to. Bucket list. I don't think it's possible to just... I guess you could go somewhere where it's going to happen.
I'm not sure when the next one is.
No, possibly not for ages. It's not like, oh yeah, I want to go skydiving and you just book it. You have to wait. But I'd love to see an eclipse. And it says it's 240,000 miles away. So that gives you a little clue of my
And how far is that?
A long way. Well, how long do you think it would take to drive to the moon at 70 miles per hour? 70 is quite fast. That's like motorway speed, isn't it? 70? I don't drive.
Yeah.
You can either work out the maths, or you can...
oh, no.
The answer's
I can't do mental arithmetic.
in days. So it would be extra maths to take it from hours to days.
Probably thousands of days. I don't know.
Days.
20,000 days.
20,000 days. Oh, well, actually, you're over. It's only 135.
Oh, right. Okay.
And you
That
can't
was,
stop.
well over.
You can't refuel. And you can't
What about all the
stop
traffic lights?
We haven't quite got around to introducing our space traffic lights yet. When we do, I'll edit this. I'll come back and say it's slower.
Yeah.
I can also tell you that if you walked at about 3 miles per hour, So that's pretty average walking speed. It would take you 8.6 years.
Great.
Which I know is a stupidly long time, but for me, I'm like, that sounds reasonable. 8 years to walk to the moon. Or the quickest way, you could fly there by rocket, and that takes 60 to 70 hours.
Not bad. Let's do that.
Yeah, I think that's probably why people will take a rocket rather than walking. That and the whole vacuum of space that would probably not be fun.
Definitely.
To walk through. The moon looks different sometimes. I thought I'd include that. And that it doesn't change shape. It's just, it's the way the sun is hitting it. And we call that the phases of the moon.
Yeah. Do you know the names of the phases of the moon?
Oh, I can't remember which goes to which. Waxing gibbous, waning gibbous. First quarter.
Yeah, those are the ones where it's more than a third, isn't it? Or no, more than halfway is gibbous.
Oh, okay. And what's the other one called? I can't remember. And then you get first quarter and last quarter, which are when it looks...
crescent moon.
Oh, crescent. Yes, waxing crescent. And that makes sense. Why was that the one I didn't get? And I did get gibbous.
And of course, the full moon.
The full moon, yes. Werewolves. Ooh. I think that's one of my favourite things about the moon, because other things like the planets that are really far away we've only discovered recently. But because we've been able to see the moon always, so much cool stuff has been written about it, like werewolves and magic and all this kind of stuff. And
yeah, there's a lot of mythology about the moon.
Yeah, mythology. I love stories. So stories about werewolves and stuff I think are quite cool.
And the new moon is when you can't see it at all.
Yes. And the sun is facing the back of it. Any more facts about the moon?
Oh yeah, it is how the moon was formed. That's quite a weird one. Well, there's speculation about, so it's not sure. They're not sure how the moon was formed exactly. One thought is that it was formed 4.51 billion years ago from debris left from an impact of a sort of Mars-sized object with the Earth that sort of created this big chunk of rock that then, loads of bits of rock that then formed into the moon billions of years ago. Quite interesting, but they're not actually certain how it happened. So.
Okay, well, that's even more interesting.
Yeah.
And we're not the only people to have a moon either.
No.
No, because other planets...
Well, maybe the only people.
Well, the only people. Yeah, depends if they're Martians. The only planet. We're not the only planet to have a moon. And actually, some moons are less interesting, but a lot of moons are really interesting. I think, I haven't got this written down. Is it Europa that has all the ice?
Yeah.
And they reckon there could be something underneath it. I'm like, that's so cool.
It could be. Yeah, I think the scientists speculate that it could be livable under Europa or something, under the ice or something like that. Or maybe I've got my facts wrong.
I think that's right. That's what I thought. I think there's a moon of Jupiter with like lakes of methane. Or like methane, solid, liquid and gas, like how we have water as like ice, water and water vapor on Earth. There's a moon where you get that, but it's methane.
Methane is a very poisonous gas, by the way, everyone, so don't breathe it.
Methane. Yes.
You wouldn't want to swim in it either.
No.
Oh, another fun fact about the moon. Yeah, another fun fact about the moon is in a synchronous rotation with the Earth, which means that it's always showing its face to the Earth. Where no matter where you are and where you look at it, it's always got its face to the Earth.
So that's why we have the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
It's the other side that we never see.
Yeah. It's a good album too.
Yes, I figure that's where the album is named from. There we go. Cool.
I've got a couple more moon facts, just a couple.
Moon facts, and I go on.
All of the craters you can see are impact craters from asteroids and comets, and as well as that, you see the dark patches. Do you know what they are, Emma?
Do they call them seas?
Yeah. I think they call them seas. They're the lunar seas, and they're actually what they're made from is basalt, so a different type of rock.
So I knew they called them seas, but I was pretty sure they weren't actually the sea.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
So they're known as the seas, like there's the Sea of Tranquility and the Sea of Serenity and things like that.
I love that.
And those are the seas of the moon. But they're not actual seas.
Cool.
They're just a different coloured rock.
I've got an extra fact about the craters. Apparently, the widest craters are 140 miles in diameter.
That's big.
That's pretty big. I'm not quite sure how far away 140 miles would be.
Or do I? I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Big. Is that all your moon facts? Should we talk about the sun?
That's all I got on the moon.
So, something that some people might not know about the sun is a star. All the little stars we see, the sun is another one, but it looks very different because it's much, much closer to us. So it looks very different. And we orbit around the sun. So that means, we talk about orbiting, it means the Earth goes around the sun. So all the other stars, we don't go around them. So that's why it kind of seems so different. But it's actually quite a small star as well. It's the nearest star to the Earth. And it is a burning ball of mostly hydrogen and helium. So it is a big, big fire, basically. I don't know does it count as fire? It's like combusting, isn't it?
Don't ask me.
It's basically a big fire.
Yeah, massive fire.
And it's 865,370 miles wide. I should have included a comparison for that because we can't comprehend these numbers.
No, it's too big to even think
This
of.
is why I love space. That is so big. And from here, it looks so small because it's really far away. But that's ginormous. And it's a whole star. Have you seen these videos where they compare the sizes of like the sun? So it's like, here's the Earth, and here way bigger is the sun. And then it starts showing you other stars.
Yeah.
Huge.
Could engulf the whole solar system or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what type of star it is? I know there's different types of star, like red giant and yellow giant and things like that. I can't remember what type of star it is.
With the magic of technology, I can find out. G2V, apparently. A yellow dwarf, there we go.
Yellow dwarf, that's it.
Because red dwarfs are bigger and is also a great TV show.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Check it out, guys.
Yeah, a lot of these space kind of phrases kind of find our way into popular culture. Like Red Dwarf, the TV show, is named after a type of star. Some more facts. At the surface, the sun is 5,505 degrees Celsius. And we have got some comparisons to try to begin to get our head around how hot that is. So a very hot oven, not even a regular oven, like an oven that's quite hot, will go up to 230, or a blowtorch will get up to 2,610.
Yeah.
So the entire surface of this massive, massive sun is hot, more than twice as hot as a blowtorch.
You don't want to cook your dinner in the sun.
No. Well, luckily for us, it is 92.96 million miles away. So we get to just enjoy the nice warmth rather than that. But that just shows how like dangerous it is. I mean, even from here, we still get really bad sunburns. So I've got another question for you about the sun. How hot? We've got how hot that's just the surface. It's hotter in the center. So how hot is the core of the sun, the very center of the sun?
Oh, it's got to be pretty hot.
Pretty hot.
Let's say, how about
Very well on the moon facts. So.
50,000
50,000
degrees Celsius. So it's like compact into really, really hot stuff. I don't know. Is that crazy? Or is that just a wild?
15 million.
Billion! Oh, million! Wow. 15 million.
Unbelievably hot. I couldn't even find a comparison because nothing on Earth is that hot. So in the middle of the sun, everything is just like a molten. Everything is a gas because it's just so hot. This is why I love learning about space, because You can't even try to wrap your head around 15 million degrees Celsius.
No.
Do you have any facts about the sun?
No, that's the one thing that I forgot to look up was the sun.
That's all right. We can talk about other stars. So a bit more of pop culture. We've got Buzz Lightyear here.
Whoa.
And he's also named after a space thing, and it's this concept of light years. So the next stars are so far away, the distance is measured in light years. Now, when you turn your light on, your light in your room, it comes on straight away, right? It just you click the light switch, and the light is on.
Yeah, and it's on it comes.
Instant. But it actually, the light has to travel, but it's so fast you wouldn't even notice, which I think is a really strange concept because it's that fast. It's so hard to get your head around. Have you ever done those experiments when you were younger, maybe at school, and they get someone to stand across the playground with a really big drum, and they hit the drum, and you can hear it before you can see it?
Yes, yeah, that's always that's weird, isn't it? Because the speed of sound is slower than the speed of light. So
yeah, but so it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for light to get from the sun to the earth. So how far was that? It was 90, almost 93 million miles in 8 minutes.
not bad.
But a light year is the distance it would travel in a year. So for something that fast, that is a long way. And I've tried to explain it in a very long-winded way.
Whoa.
Our next nearest star after the sun is called Proxima Centauri, and it's 4.2 light years away. And 4.2 sounds like a very short distance because it's a low number. But this is 300 million times further away than the sun.
And is that it there, down in the corner?
That is a picture of Proxima Centauri, yeah. And I've got a really long-winded explanation. Try and get our head around how far. So we're going to imagine, have you been to Land's End in Cornwall?
I have, yes.
It's the southernmost point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been to Land's End. And then have you been to John O'Groats?
No, I haven't.
That's the northernmost tip of Scotland. So this is like the furthest distance you can travel in the UK. And it would take you 12 and a half hours to drive from Land's End to John O'Groats. So that seems quite far. But what we're going to do is we're going to imagine we've got a brick, and we're going to drive the brick from Land's End to John O'Groats. And we're going to lay the brick. And then we're going to drive back and get another brick. And then we're going to drive back and we're going to lay the brick. And we're going to keep going until we've built the entire of the Empire State Building. There's 10 million bricks. It'll take 28,500 years.
Wow.
So that's a long way. And when we've done all of that, we're going to write one letter on a piece of paper. And I believe that letter is an I.
There's more to do?
There's more to do. Oh, we're not done yet, because we've written out just our I, one letter, and then we're going to dismantle the Empire State Building, and we're going to take it all the way back to Cornwall, brick by brick, 12.5 hours each way, move the entire Empire State Building, and that's when we will write our second letter, which is a T. There's still more to do, because we're gonna keep doing that, move the entire Empire State Building. Every time we've moved the entire Empire State Building, write another letter until we've written the entirety of the song Happy by Pharrell, which is 145 characters.
I was going to ask, who's this letter to?
Oh, well. Right, letter. No, just a singular letter. But it is for somebody.
No, I get it.
It is for somebody, because we're going to do that 236 times so that everyone at Dayspace can have a copy. And we have to move the Empire State Building from Cornwall to Scotland for every single letter 236 times.
Yeah, my mind is blown.
But then we're going to do it again because they all need a spare. And then
of course.
Yeah, of course, the whole thing again. And then half of them need a third copy. So we're going to do it for half of them. And that...
Why did they lost the first two?
Yeah, in the millions of years it took you to rebuild the Empire State Building brick by brick. They've lost. Their first copy has just decayed. But that probably sounds ridiculous, and you're probably thinking, everyone listening is probably thinking, this is just a stupidly unimaginable. How far would you have to drive? That is how far it is to Proxima Centauri.
Amazing.
And if you just feel confused, then that confusion is how far it is to Proxima Centauri.
Measured by confusion. I don't think we have an SI unit for confusion.
Like, at least with the surface of the sun, I could say, like, it's kind of twice as hot as a blowtorch.
Yeah.
The distance is so much further than anything we have it kind of in our brains. And that's why I like space. But on a more understandable...
Wow, there we are.
Yeah, we do kind of like to categorize the stars. In the olden days, they like to see patterns in the stars. I guess a bit like how we do cloud watching.
Yeah, you can see shapes in the clouds sometimes.
Yeah.
But then these are sort of patterns of groups of stars that people have said represent certain things like animals, or mythological creatures, or heroes from mythology and things like that. And just sometimes random objects like the plough.
Yes, that's at the top. And Big Dipper, I think, is another
Big
term.
Dipper. Oh yes, there it is.
American term, isn't it? Yeah, it's part
Ursa Major's tail.
Yeah, cool. And one, this is the spring night sky. This one that's on screen. They've got Virgo, Leo. Some of them you might recognise as what we call like star signs. And that's to do with like when you were born, where the stars were, and apparently that categorises you.
Yeah, there's mine, Virgo.
No, you're a Virgo. I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, where's Capricorn? Come on. Keep up.
This is just the spring sky. I should have put it up. And this one I've put because I think this is the only one that I'm ever able to spot. Occasionally I can spot the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
But Orion is usually the easiest.
Yeah, so easy to spot because of its belt, the three stars that are very close together.
Is Proxima Centauri in the star we just spoke about in Orion?
Not sure. I think Betelgeuse is.
Oh, Betelgeuse is.
Orion.
Yes, I knew there was a famous star in it because that's a really red-looking one, isn't it? Yeah, you can see the belt of Orion because of the three bright stars.
And it kind of resembles a hunter because Orion was a hunter from Greek mythology.
And there is a lot of kind of stories, because I know that the constellations of Vega and Altair, and there's a story because they're separated on either side of the sky, that they were like lovers that weren't allowed to be together.
Pretty cool.
Another star story.
Yeah, there's loads of stories about the stars, aren't there?
I guess a long time ago, before they had telescopes and all the kind of equipment we have now, I have no idea what this stuff was.
No, I think they used to call it the heavens, didn't they? The sky, they used to call it the heavens. They used to think the gods lived up there in the heavens.
Yeah, because it's just pretty and sparkly, but why? But no, it's many, many far away burning stars.
Does it kind of detract from the beauty of it, or does it not?
I think it kind of adds to it.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's still so far away, you can't possibly imagine it, like we've discussed.
Yeah, it's so hard to wrap your head around the fact that you're looking at these stars that are so far away and so big and hot.
And the light that's coming to you from them is from so long ago as well.
Yeah. I mean, the nearest one, that was 4 years. So you're seeing that 4 years ago, 2016.
Who can remember what happened in 2016? I can't.
I mean, I didn't work at Dayspace then.
Trump was elected, wasn't he?
Was that 2016? Possibly, yeah. That was when I was in my second year of uni.
Anyway, that was a digression.
Some of the stars have planets around them. It's not just our star. There are other planets out there. Maybe there are aliens.
Yeah, loads of planets. I wonder how many of them have people on them.
So I think they found one, like what they call an Earth-like planet that they reckon could be inhabitable.
Are we alone in the universe? That's the question.
Oh, I don't know. I think, this evening when you're looking up at the stars, if you listen to this, you can just think, they are far away. There is so much space. And I am so small.
Yes, just think about the insignificance of the Earth.
There's a picture, right, of the Earth in a sunbeam, and it's like a speck of dust, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're so insignificant." But there's a great kind of comparison that I read where it's like, imagine there's like an infinite vast sea, and you are stranded on a raft in the middle. It doesn't matter how big the sea is. All of the search parties are looking for you. Just because you are small does not mean you are insignificant. And I like that. I think that's a nice way to think about it. After you've thought about how big the stars are and how small we are, you can remember that that doesn't mean that you're not significant.
Because everyone's significant.
Everyone's significant. And now I've got a quiz.
I love quizzes.
About the stars. I've got a quiz about the planets. So there are 8 planets in our solar system. They all orbit the sun. We don't normally see them. We can sometimes see some of them. But there they are. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. It's a bit controversial, isn't it? Pluto.
What? Pluto, yeah, because when I was in, I think, secondary school is when they decided that it wasn't a planet anymore.
It's a dwarf planet.
They said it's a tiny dwarf planet. It's not allowed to be a major planet anymore.
So a lot of people feel that because it was once a planet, it should still be a planet, which I understand. You know, they like Pluto. They want Pluto included. But here's my argument for not including Pluto. There are actually 4 other dwarf planets in the solar system, and they're called Ceres, Eris, Makemake, and Haumea. I did look up the pronunciations of these, but I've forgotten them all. And one of them even has a moon. Makemake has a moon. So if we're including Pluto, then they all need to be included as well.
It's just that I know the mnemonic for remembering all this is my very easy method just speeds up naming planets, but without Pluto, it doesn't make sense. So you've got to make up a new one.
My very easy method just speeds up naming.
But naming what?
Just have to remember. Yeah, all the ways I've been taught don't work anymore. I was taught my very animal men jump sideways using new plimsolls. Who uses the word? Is it animal?
Animal? What does that even mean?
I can't even find the word. I probably pronounced it wrong. I'm embarrassed myself. There's probably someone listening being like, you're an idiot. And also the fact that it starts with many, very. But anyway, my very easy method just speeds up naming.
Well, there are different ones I did find. I just typed in the mnemonic onto Google and it came up with, here's quite a good one. Mustard volcanoes erupt meaty, juicy sandwiches up north.
I like that. See, that fits with that Pluto. We just have to come up with some new ones.
Or my very educated mother just served us noodles.
I had noodles last night.
Wow.
But I cooked them, my mum didn't. But I like that. Okay, so what I've got for you is 3 clues. And I have tried to start with a harder clue and move to an easier clue. So you've got to guess the planet. And if you guess it on the first clue, I'll give you 3 points. If you guess it on the second clue, I'll give you 2 points. And if you guess it on the third clue, I'll give you 1 point.
Okay, we'll see if my research paid off.
Yeah, you said you've looked up some of the planets and found some facts, so you might have found these facts. Okay, here's your first clue. It has 79 moons, and all of them are named after the lovers of Zeus in Greek mythology.
79 moons. Well, I think that
You can
one,
have a guess.
because I can guess. I can spoil the quiz by just knowing. I think that's Jupiter.
Well, we'll carry on with the other ones, and if you're right, then you'll get 3 points.
Okay.
So the next clue, it has a red spot on it that is actually a large storm.
Yes. I'm sticking with my answer, Jupiter. Doubling down, I think.
Okay, the last clue, it is the largest planet. So I should have pointed out that they're not to scale on the picture, very much so. They're all the same size. But the one that's by far the biggest, you're right, is Jupiter. So it's quite a lot bigger than Earth. I haven't done them to scale at all because, as usual in terms of space, it's just not possible. It's too big.
Yeah. Would you like a couple of Jupiter facts?
I'd love a couple of Jupiter
Couple more
facts.
Jupiter facts. It's named after the Roman god Jupiter, who's basically the Roman equivalent of Zeus, the Greek god. And he's the king of the gods. So the most powerful one is Jupiter. And it's a gas giant. It's classified as a gas giant because it's not got a solid surface. It's just it's all made of gas.
So that's how the big red spot works. It's just a storm of gases that's been going for a long time.
many millions of billions of years.
When I looked this up, I got the length of time that it had been raging for. 350 years. It's so large that 3 Earths could fit inside it. And there you go. It gives you an idea of scale. So just if you see the planet that the arrow is pointing to, you can probably see the red spot we're referring to.
Yeah.
3 Earths just inside that red spot storm.
Yeah, all the moons. Do you know what the largest of the moons is called?
No.
Ganymede.
Ganymede, of course.
Yes.
Should we do another planet?
Yeah, go on then.
See how many points you get. Okay, here's your first fact. It is the hottest planet.
Hottest planet. Well, you would think it was Mars because it's red. You know, Mars is red. But I'm going to go with the one that's closest to the sun, which is Mercury.
Okay. Well, we'll hold it. We'll see if you want to change it on the next clue. It is the brightest planet when viewed from Earth.
No, I want to change my answer.
You want to change your answer?
Yeah.
That's fine, but you only get the 2 points.
Venus.
Venus. Oh, okay. Last clue. It is the most similar in size to Earth.
Yes. I'll stick with Venus.
You're right. It's Venus.
Only 2 points, though.
Well, I deliberately put it in because I thought that might throw you off.
Yeah.
Because Mercury is the closest to the sun, you're right, but Venus has a really thick atmosphere, a bit like, you know, when you go in the greenhouse or in the conservatory, if you have a glass conservatory, it gets really, really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. It just holds in all of the heat, and actually has acid rain and very uninhabitable.
Yeah. Caused, apparently, by a runaway greenhouse effect, they think.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's what
the Earth could potentially be like in millions of years, is like another Venus.
So the reason that we stay a nice temperature is because of this greenhouse effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as much as saying our greenhouses get quite hot, this far from the sun in the middle of space, as we start to get to the outer planets or else, they're quite cold. So we kind of need that. But that was a bit too much on Venus.
Yeah. And Venus is named after the goddess of love and beauty.
Ah, that's nice.
Oh, and another fun fact. It rotates in the opposite direction to all other planets apart from Uranus.
Oh.
So all the planets spin in the same direction apart from Venus and Uranus, which go the other way.
Ah, a good fact. I like that. Cool.
Oh, and the fact that you've said it's the most similar in size to Earth is that's why Venus is often known as a sister or twin planet to the Earth.
Ah, other than the fact that it is a bit too hot.
Bit. It's like having a hot sister.
Right, should we do the next one?
Yes.
This is the first planet to be discovered using a telescope.
Ooh.
Very specific question.
Okay.
The first one that we discovered with a telescope.
Right. I'm not sure, but I'm going to guess Neptune.
Okay, Neptune. I could guess.
Yeah.
It is the coldest planet.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with Neptune because it's so far away.
It rotates on its side as if it is rolling rather than spinning.
No. It's Uranus. You're right, you're Uranus. Right, I know
It
it rotates on its side. Yes.
If you imagine, like, you know how like a ballerina spins versus how you'd roll down a hill.
Yeah.
So the Earth spins round like a ballerina as it moves along, whereas Uranus kind of rolls along.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't have an interesting fact about why Uranus is colder than Neptune, but I assume it's to do with the atmosphere again.
Yeah, it must be. What's it named after? It's named after the Greek god of the sky.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Father
Yeah.
Sky
The sky.
was the son and husband. This is a weird fact. So in Greek mythology, Uranus was the son and husband of Gaia, or Mother Earth. So Father Sky and Mother Earth.
Son
Okay,
and husband.
Yeah, I know. Bit
A long time ago.
It was, yeah, in a galaxy far, far. No, in a galaxy right here. Yeah. So it's Uranus. Uranus. I keep on saying Uranus. Uranus.
They're both correct.
Don't know how to say it properly, but so Uranus and Neptune are both classified as ice giants because they're mostly made of ice.
It's staying very cold out there when you're
super
far
cold.
away from the sun. And yeah, the reason it's the first to be discovered using the telescope is because the other ones we can see from Earth, kind of in quotes, because we can't see them that easily. But
Neptune.
yeah, sorry. So Neptune was discovered afterwards.
Yeah.
But the rest we could just spot and name and work out that they were planets before we had big telescopes.
Yeah, it's near the limit of the naked eye visibility. I looked up yesterday, so you can just about see if your eyes are really good and if they're really clear sky.
Oh, okay. Oh, imagine that. That would be cool.
Yeah. And do you know what the moons are named after, or who the moons are named after of Uranus? They're named after Shakespearean characters.
Oh, yes. No, I think I did read that somewhere.
Titania and Oberon are some famous ones, and Puck and all that.
I like that they're keeping them in like groups, so all the moons. That's another cool thing. We just think we have one moon, but some planets have many. Aren't there places in like Star Wars that have multiple moons and stuff like that, or multiple suns?
Multiple moons, and they're all based around one topographic feature. So you've got the forest moon and the ice moon. So there's no difference in climate on these planets.
I guess you can have Europa, as we were saying, the ice moon.
Yeah, I suppose. It does kind of make sense. But just the forest moon seems a bit silly with a moon entirely covered in forest.
Yeah. You wouldn't want that here. We'd chop it down.
Yeah.
Shall we do another planet?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. It is home to the tallest mountain in the solar system, Olympus Mons.
I think this is Mars.
Okay, Mars. As usual, we'll go through the rest of them. You can change if you like.
Mm-hmm.
It has the largest dust storms in the solar system.
Yeah, it looks pretty dusty from that picture to me. Let's go with... Yep, I'll stick.
There have been 18 successful missions there, but none of them with humans on board.
Yeah, let's go with Mars, I think.
Correct.
Woo!
3 points. I am scoring you, by the way.
Good.
Mars, the red planet.
Why is it called the Red Planet?
Is it to do with rust? Or is that a myth?
It's to do with iron oxide,
Ah.
which is on the surface. The amount of iron oxide on the surface makes it appear red.
Yeah, so iron oxide is the technical term for rust, right?
Yeah.
When we see something go rusty, it is because it has created this iron oxide. So it's rusty, basically.
And of course, Mars is named after the Roman god of war.
War, yes. What's a god's name? That makes sense. If you find a massive planet, you're going to name it after your gods to appease them.
Particularly the evil-looking red one. You go, that's Mars. That's the bad guy.
We can quite often see Mars. I think we said we can see Venus the most, can't we? Because it's the brightest.
Wasn't there something they found water on Mars a few years ago or something like that? Or was it ice they found?
They said they found, I saw evidence of, if there's water on any other planets, then it would have been Mars. This is where Martians come from, the idea of Martians, they come from Mars. But they're not there anymore. But they might have been. Maybe.
Who knows? They might be buried away under the surface, hiding.
I always found the most exciting thing about learning about topics like this is when it gets to the point where nobody knows.
Yeah.
And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, there's so much to discover.
There's still so much to discover, there is. Should we discover another planet?
Yes. You
Right,
build the
yeah.
rocket. I'll learn to fly it.
I'm going to discover a planet in the form of just guessing which one it is. It has the most craters.
Well, we've had
You can start ticking
Venus,
them
we've
off.
had Mars. I'll just tick them off. I'm going to go with Mercury for this one because we haven't had Mercury yet.
Mercury, yeah, very smart. It is the smallest planet.
Yep, stick.
It is the closest planet to the sun.
Hey!
Yep, Mercury, very good. So I think the reason it has the most craters is because all of the other planets, obviously the gas planets, you can't really get a crater in it because they're not solid. But Venus, Earth, and Mars, they kind of can heal themselves.
Oh, right.
So in the same way we get kind of the Earth moving, and that's how you get earthquakes. Venus and Mars can do that, but Mercury can't. So every time something hits it, it can't heal from it.
Kind of like the moon.
Yeah.
Because the moon doesn't heal itself from its impact craters and things.
So there we go. So the moon, that's why the moon has so many craters.
Yeah.
I mean, it does look a bit like the moon, doesn't it?
It does if it's grey like that, yeah.
Yeah, and kind of the way that it's got the craters.
Does it have an atmosphere, do you know, Mercury? Because I know the moon has a very, 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 very tiny atmosphere.
I think it has a small one, but I think I read that, instead of an atmosphere, it has an exosphere. Well, that doesn't help. I don't know what that is. So I think I read that the winds, the solar winds, so like space wind, basically, to explain that. Wind in space.
Space wind.
That's the best way to describe it. The wind in space has like blown most of it off. No, it's too weak. The gravity is too weak. Yeah, it's blown away. But there's still some stuff in the atmosphere that we probably can't understand.
Okay. What do I have about Mercury here? Named after the messenger of the gods. I'm doing them what they're named after.
That's good. I like what they're named.
I found interesting. And it has the most eccentric orbit of all the planets, which means its shortest distance from the sun is very. There's a great difference between its shortest distance from the sun and its longest distance from the sun.
So presumably it has very, very strong seasons.
I would assume so. I don't really know. If it doesn't have an atmosphere, it doesn't have any seasons at all.
Oh, yeah. If it had an atmosphere, if it hadn't blown away, it would
Spring would be super long.
But it would have times when it's super hot, right?
Yeah.
When it's near to the sun. Yeah, it would be like a really short but really hot summer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd like that. I might stay here.
Yeah, stick with the Earth.
I like it being less hot for longer. You get in the zone. I'm in the zone now. I've got all my summer clothes. And I'm at the front of my drawer. Yeah, stick with Earth.
Probably for the best. The rest of them aren't inhabitable by any stretch.
The fact that it's really, really hot and there's no air to breathe. Because that's why we get hotter times, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon. I would assume.
Yeah.
I paid attention in science.
We should have done something we knew more about.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah, we're all kind of learning, and if we take time to learn it, then other people understand. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone can understand all of this. Space is too ridiculous.
Mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling. It really is. Right, our next planet. It was the most recently discovered in 1846.
Not Pluto, doesn't exist anymore. No, I'm not sure now because I did have some. I'm not looking at my cheat sheet that I've got in front of me.
Look at the facts once we know what it is.
Maybe Saturn. No. Oh no, you've got to go with my first answer, haven't you?
Okay.
Why did I say that?
Oh, I don't know why the first fact is better. It has the longest years, taking 164.8 of our Earth years to orbit the sun.
Because I know that Saturn does have a very long orbit time. I'm not sure between Saturn and Neptune.
Are you going to stick or are you going to change?
I'm gonna change to Neptune.
We'll change to Neptune, okay.
Yeah.
It is the most distant planet from the sun.
Woo! Thank goodness. That was tense. My heart is beating.
Very exciting quiz. It is Neptune.
Hey.
Is this from the blue planet? There is a reason it's blue.
The traces of methane in the outer atmosphere is the reason for the blue appearance. Our friend methane from before.
Yes.
Yeah, the gas you should not breathe or swim in.
I actually thought of another fact about Mars that I missed, that I found out when researching this and actually appeared in a quiz I did. So I got very excited because I knew the answer. And it's that the sunsets on Mars are blue and the daytime sky is pink.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why. Who knows? It's space. Anything can happen. In the daytime, the sky is pink. And then when we get our nice pink sunsets, they get blue sunsets. Mind blown.
Absolutely.
Sorry, that was about Mars, though.
No, great.
About Neptune.
Going back to Neptune, it's named after the Roman god of the sea.
Sea, yes.
So they must have seen the blue thing up in the sky and gone, yep, Neptune, because it's blue.
They didn't overthink it, did they?
No,
Red,
sea blue,
god
done.
of blue, god of the sea.
It's massive. It's got to be Jupiter.
Yes, the biggest one, the biggest god.
It's a little ball of fire. Got to be Venus.
Yeah. What about Mercury? Maybe because it goes so quickly. It spins quite quickly.
That would make sense for the messenger.
There was clearly some thinking involved.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Here's a fact about Neptune that I thought was interesting. It was the only planet in the solar system to be found by mathematical prediction rather than observation. So they predicted that it was up in space before they actually saw it with a telescope.
Yeah, because they found Pluto that way, didn't they? And then obviously people included that one. I think. So they worked it out from
a smart man called Alexis Bovard.
Very smart person. Yeah, 'cause they can look at space and work so many things out. They can work out what like stars are made of from looking at the light that comes from them. I don't think I can even remember. I was taught once how, and it's so confusing. I'm not even going to begin to explain.
I don't know. I did all arts for A levels.
I can try to explain, but I think we might lose a few people.
Okay, if we haven't lost them already, come back, guys.
Come back and listen to us talk about space. I guess we can look at things and tell what they're made of. That now I'm thinking about it, that doesn't sound so strange.
Yeah, I suppose. That's made of wood.
Yeah,
for example.
If they're wood or plastic. They just did that but with light and millions of miles away.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
Easy. Okay, how many? I've been losing track. I think we have like 2 or something more planets to do.
Oh yeah, because we've got Earth to mention as well.
Okay, next one. It has a very powerful magnetic field.
Well, we do have a powerful magnetic field on Earth. But I think...
I've tried to throw you off loads, so it really could be.
Okay. But the fact that Saturn has all those rings probably means it's got a strong magnetic field, I would say. So I might go with Saturn, because we haven't had Saturn yet.
Okay. It is the densest planet in the solar system.
Okay. I don't really know what densest means.
It kind of means it has the most stuff in it.
Yeah. So everything's packed in really tight.
Everything's packed in really tight. Yeah. It's like there's not much air gaps. I
Okay.
guess.
I'll stick with Saturn. Yeah.
It is the only planet not named after a god.
Oh, wait, that's Earth.
Yeah, it's Earth.
Oh no, you foxed me.
Well, I knew I had to throw you off because you'd be like, well, there's only 2 planets left. I was like, I'm not making this easy. Yes, because the big planets are all gas, so they don't count as, there's not much stuff.
Oh, duh. I didn't look up any facts about Earth because we live on it.
I live on Earth. It's very nice.
Yeah.
That's about it. The only place that we know has life that we know about.
Yeah.
Which is pretty magical. Like, this is just in our solar system, but of all the, we've seen so many planets so far away, and we are the only ones who are alive.
So we are significant, remember, guys.
We are.
Everyone's significant.
Right. I mean, you have worked out what this one is because you know it's the last one, but we'll go for it.
I might go for Venus again. No, Saturn. Saturn.
I tricked you. It's Venus again. Okay.
Oh.
I'll give you the 3 points.
Saturn.
It has the highest number of moons. It's got 82 moons.
Wow.
Well, we've only got the one. It's the flattest planet. Just an interesting fact. So it's a lot.
This is squat.
Yeah, imagine like squishing an orange down. It's like that.
Okay.
But don't go
More
and
like a
squish.
Satsuma then.
Yeah, satsumas are like squished oranges, aren't they? Yeah, like a satsuma. And this'll give it away. I mean, you already knew it. But it has over 30 rings, which are the most notable in the solar system.
Yeah.
It's Saturn.
Uranus has rings as well.
Yeah, I think I read that some other planets have like small rings, but they're not quite
Saturn
as.
has those massive ones.
Yeah.
Which I looked up and made from ice crystals, rocky debris, and dust is what they're formed from.
Cool.
Those
I mean, they
rings.
look awesome.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we had like a ring going around the Earth?
Yeah. That would be
I guess you'd
crazy.
see it like you see the moon, wouldn't you? You'd just see this like.
Yeah, I suppose it would just be a big, well, load of asteroids up in the sky, or really dense, or whatever. It would just look like rings in the sky. a big line of.
Like a rainbow.
dust. Yeah,
Like-
it might be a bit like a rainbow. Yeah.
but I guess it would look different because with a rainbow, it's like kind of is where you are. Whereas with the rings, they would be always
They'd be there
around
all
the
the
same
time.
place. What if they'd be
Yeah.
around the equator?
Yes. So Saturn is was the Roman god of wealth and agriculture.
Ah,
Yeah.
we'd want to make him happy or her happy.
Yeah. I think it was a him, Saturn.
Probably.
And the biggest moon, do you know the biggest moon of Saturn?
No, I don't. I haven't got any facts written down. I don't know what I looked down.
Titan.
Titan, yes, of course.
The second largest moon in the solar system, I assume smaller than Ganymede, which was Jupiter's biggest.
I wonder how they compare to Earth. Because our moon is a quarter of the size of Earth.
I have written here, Ganymede is the largest of Jupiter's moons, and it's bigger than Mercury, but it doesn't say that it's bigger than Venus or Earth or Mars, so probably not as big.
Okay, I've done a really quick Google. Ganymede is the biggest moon,
Yeah.
and it's 0.41 of Earth.
Okay, so it's pretty close.
Yeah, that's like, just under half. Just under half? Yeah. I had to think about that. Maths. Just under half the size of Earth.
So not that close.
Twice the size of our moon. Still pretty big though.
Yeah.
Twice as big as ours. There you go. That's all my facts, other than my last big fact.
Yeah.
And so your final score out of a possible 24 was 18.
Hey!
Well done.
Not too bad.
So I've ended on a completely ridiculous sounding but completely true fact that everything we are made of was once formed inside a star, which doesn't sound believable, but it is. Absolutely everything that we have on Earth, all of our atoms, what we're made of, is from inside a star.
So you're significant, guys, and you're made of stars.
We're very small, everything is big.
Amazing.
That's it, that's what I've got. I hope you look up at the night sky tonight and just think, wow, what a lot of stars.
And our job will be done if you do that.
Yeah, even if you didn't take much from our crazy, crazy facts, you can take from it, wow, there's a lot of stars and they're very far away.
Yeah, to infinity and beyond.
Infinity and beyond. Well, thank you all for listening. I feel suitably amazed.
We have thoroughly covered the topic of space.
Yeah, I mean, we say that, but we haven't even.
No, we've not scratched the surface.
There's so much space, which you can just ponder. Anything you could imagine could be up there.
Brilliant. Well, take it easy, guys.
Thank you for listening. And yeah, we'll catch you next time for maybe something a bit more down to earth.
Whoa, see what you did there.
Cool.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Dayspace.